Essentialism is about getting crystal clear on what truly matters in life and then directing your energy toward that purpose with full focus. Think of it like a personal reset button. Instead of being pulled in a million directions, juggling countless tasks, and saying yes to everything, essentialism encourages us to pause, evaluate, and only choose the things that genuinely align with our goals and values. Imagine your life as a blank canvas. Every yes you say to something that doesn't align with your true priorities is like adding a random splash of paint. Soon, that canvas becomes chaotic, cluttered, and far from the masterpiece you envisioned. Essentialism is the process of saying no to the unnecessary brushstrokes, so you can focus on creating something meaningful and intentional. It's about choosing what really deserves your time and attention, and letting the rest go. Now, here's where the beauty of essentialism shines. When you're only focusing on the essentials, you actually create space for your best work. Think about the projects you've started with so much energy, only to get bogged down by distractions, obligations, or things you felt you had to do. With essentialism, you're free to remove those unnecessary burdens, leaving only the tasks that make the highest impact, allowing you to give them the best of your energy and effort. Essentialism also teaches that doing fewer things doesn't mean you're doing less. In fact, it's the opposite. By focusing on what truly matters, your contributions become deeper and more effective. You're not just crossing off items on a to-do list, you're making significant progress on the things that really count. Essentialism is about creating a life that's meaningful and focused, instead of scattered and overwhelming. Imagine how powerful it would feel to be free of the pressures to say yes to everything, to only focus on what truly matters, and to feel like your time is well spent on things that make a real difference. Here's a closer look at how these ideas can change your life. Permission to focus on what matters. Many of us feel like we have to do everything, keep everyone happy, and say yes to every request. Essentialism, however, teaches us that it's okay to say no. Imagine the relief of dropping the weight of unnecessary tasks. When you finally give yourself permission to focus only on the things that bring real value to your life, you free up energy to give your very best to those things. You're no longer worn out by trying to be everywhere and do everything. You're investing yourself where it counts the most. Distinguishing the vital few from the trivial many. Essentialism helps us see the difference between what's truly important, the vital few, and what's just filling our time without any real impact, the trivial many. It's like looking at your to-do list and picking out only the tasks that will make a big difference, while letting go of everything else. Imagine how much lighter life feels when you only focus on what's essential. With less on your plate, you have the time and energy to do those few things really well. If you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. If you don't take control of your time, it's easy for others to fill it with their own priorities, leaving you exhausted and stretched thin. Essentialism reminds us that our time is precious. Instead of allowing others to decide how you spend it, you take the lead and choose what's most important to you. Think of it as driving your own car. You're in the driver's seat, choosing where you want to go. Life feels more fulfilling when you're directing it, not just being pulled along by others. The paradox of success. Here's the tricky part. When you're good at something and start achieving success, more and more options open up to you. Suddenly, you're faced with endless choices, and it's easy to get sidetracked by trying to do them all. Essentialism helps you avoid that trap. Instead of saying yes to every new opportunity, you learn to stay focused on the ones that align with your highest goals. Imagine having a filter that lets only the most valuable opportunities through. You become known for what you do best, instead of getting lost in a pile of distractions. Replacing false assumptions with core truths. Essentialism helps us replace common but limiting beliefs with truths that free us. I choose to. You're not forced to do things out of obligation. You have the power to decide what you want to invest your time in. Only a few things really matter. Not everything on your plate is equally important. Once you understand this, it becomes easier to focus on the few things that make the most impact. I can do anything but not everything. This means recognizing that you don't have to be everywhere, do everything, or please everyone. Instead, you can choose a few things to do exceptionally well. Embracing essentialism is like lifting a heavy weight off your shoulders. You're no longer burdened by things that don't truly matter. Instead, you're free to put all your energy into what counts, and that's where the real magic happens. Chapter 1 of Essentialism introduces the idea of becoming an essentialist, someone who actively focuses on fewer but more meaningful things. Here are the main ideas in easy-to-understand language. Give yourself permission to focus. We often feel like we have to do everything, say yes to everyone, and fill our schedules with endless tasks. But Essentialism teaches us that we only reach our fullest potential when we let go of the need to do it all. Instead, by giving ourselves permission to say no more often, we can focus on making our highest contributions to the things that genuinely matter. This mindset isn't about doing less for the sake of it. It's about freeing up time and energy to do what's truly important and impactful. The philosophy of less but better. There's a German phrase, weniger aber besser, meaning, less is better. This captures the spirit of essentialism, pursuing less but doing it better. Rather than spreading ourselves thin across many tasks, essentialism is about focusing deeply on a few key activities, making sure they're done exceptionally well. This approach ensures that we're not just busy, we're making meaningful progress on the things that count. Asking, am I investing in the right activities? Essentialism requires us to pause often and question our choices. Instead of rushing through life and reacting to demands, an essentialist constantly reflects, is this activity worth my time? Will it lead me closer to my goals? By doing this, we avoid wasting time on things that don't matter and ensure that our energy is directed toward things with real value. Getting the right things done. Essentialism isn't about being more efficient at tackling an endless to-do list. It's about making sure we're focused on the right tasks. We're not aiming to just do less either. It's about removing non-essential tasks so we can give our best to the essentials. It's like trimming away the branches of a tree so it grows stronger and more focused toward the sun. Making trade-offs. Essentialism rejects the idea that we can fit it all in. Instead, it's about accepting that there are real trade-offs. By focusing on what's essential, we have to let go of other things, even if they're good opportunities. This can be hard, but it's necessary to create space for what's truly important. The essentialist learns to make tough decisions with confidence, understanding that saying no is sometimes the best path to success. Living by design, not by default. Essentialists don't just react to life as it happens. They carefully design their path, intentionally choosing what to focus on and removing distractions. Instead of letting life's demands take control, they distinguish the vital few tasks from the trivial many and make sure that obstacles don't block their progress. Living by design means creating a smooth, clear path to the essentials, rather than just letting life pull you in all directions. Taking control of your choices. Essentialism is about gaining control over your life, choosing the things you pursue, and giving your energy only to what's truly meaningful. It's about finding success and satisfaction in a way that feels intentional and fulfilling. On this path, you're not just waiting to arrive at success. Instead, you enjoy the journey, fully present and connected to what you're doing along the way. Prioritizing your life. A powerful reminder from this chapter is, if you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. If you don't decide what's important, others will fill your time with their own priorities. Essentialism is a commitment to taking charge of your own life, making thoughtful choices, and ensuring that your time goes toward things that align with your values. In essence, becoming an essentialist means simplifying and focusing, clearing away everything that doesn't serve your highest purpose. Instead of running on autopilot, you're choosing a life filled with meaning, direction, and purpose. The paradox of success explains how the very thing that makes us successful, our clarity of purpose, can become our downfall if we're not careful. Here's a breakdown of this paradox in simpler terms. Clarity leads to success. When we're clear about what we want and stay focused, it's easier to excel. This focus gives us a better chance of succeeding in our goals. People notice us, recognize our commitment, and see us as reliable, talented, and effective. This strong reputation sets the stage for more success. Success brings more opportunities. Success opens up new doors. People start coming to us for help, seeing us as the go-to person who can handle things. Opportunities seem endless, and we start receiving requests, invitations, and even more responsibilities. At first, this feels like a great reward for our hard work. More opportunities, more demands. Here's where the paradox kicks in. Each new opportunity is actually a demand on our time, focus, and energy. Suddenly, we're not just working on our original purpose. We're stretched across different areas, handling multiple requests, and juggling several roles. What seemed like a reward for our hard work is now overwhelming us with more to do. Being spread too thin. As we try to keep up with all these demands, our efforts get diluted. Instead of pouring ourselves fully into our original purpose, the one that led us to success, we're now pulled in all directions. We're doing a bit of everything, but not able to focus deeply on anything. This leads to a feeling of being spread too thin, making it harder to give our best effort to any one task. Losing our original focus. Ironically, the success we worked so hard for starts to pull us away from the clarity that helped us succeed in the first place. The focus that once guided us is now clouded by too many responsibilities. We're distracted from our highest potential because we're busy trying to keep up with everything that's been added to our plate. Essentially, the paradox of success warns us that more opportunities don't always mean more progress. Instead, they can lead us off course if we're not careful about setting boundaries and staying focused on what truly matters. To avoid this, we need to keep coming back to that original clarity, asking ourselves what's really worth our time and letting go of the rest. The philosophy of essentialism asks us to rethink how we approach our lives, our time, and our priorities. Here's an easy-to-understand breakdown of these powerful ideas. The original meaning of priority. Originally, priority was a singular concept. There was only one priority, the most important thing. For centuries, people focused on the one crucial task before them. But in the 1900s, we made it plural and began talking about priorities. Now, we're pressured to believe that we should focus on multiple things at once. Essentialism reminds us that having too many priorities is counterproductive. The essentialist approach is to go back to that singular mindset and focus on what matters most. Taking control of your time. When we don't actively choose where to focus, others start making those choices for us. Bosses, colleagues, clients, even family members, all pull us in different directions. If we let this happen, we might find ourselves drifting away from our true purpose and values. Essentialism urges us to choose consciously so that our time and energy reflect what is genuinely important to us, not what others expect of us. Living true to ourselves. There's a powerful story of an Australian nurse, Bronnie Ware, who worked with patients near the end of their lives. She found that their biggest regret was not having the courage to live true to themselves. Instead, they often lived according to the expectations of others. Essentialism pushes us to live authentically, to spend our lives on what resonates with us, not on what others expect or demand. The key question to ask before saying yes. Every time you're asked to do something, pause and ask yourself, will this contribute meaningfully to my goals? This question helps us avoid saying yes to everything and gives us a chance to prioritize only what will help us reach our highest potential. The 3 realities of essentialism. To truly live as an essentialist, we need to recognize 3 core realities. Individual choice. We are responsible for how we spend our time. We have the power to choose. The prevalence of noise. Most things are distractions, with only a few things that truly add value. It's about cutting through the noise to find what's most important. The reality of trade-offs. We can have it all. Instead of asking, how can I do everything? Essentialists ask, what am I willing to sacrifice? And, which challenge is worth solving? Accepting trade-offs is crucial because it allows us to focus on fewer, more meaningful things. Finding inspiration, talent, and purpose. Essentialists focus on activities that inspire them, tap into their unique talents, and serve a real need in the world. This isn't about doing everything or taking every opportunity. It's about aligning with what brings us joy, purpose, and meaning. Making execution easier. Essentialists don't just choose the right activities. They also create systems to make those activities easier to accomplish. By investing time in setting up routines and removing obstacles, they can execute their tasks smoothly and effectively, without feeling overwhelmed. A new way of thinking. Essentialism isn't just about doing one more thing or another productivity trick. It's a whole new approach to life. It's about shifting our thinking so we focus on only what's essential, allowing us to make better, clearer, and more purposeful choices in every area of life. By embracing essentialism, we can reclaim control over our lives, focus deeply on what matters, and ultimately find more satisfaction, meaning, and fulfillment. Living the life of an essentialist means challenging some common, deeply ingrained beliefs. Here's how essentialism reframes these assumptions, so we can live with more purpose, focus, and control. From I have to I choose to. Many of us go through life feeling like we have to do things, whether it's saying yes to every work request, attending every social event, or fulfilling others' expectations. This feeling can make us feel trapped and drained. Essentialism encourages us to shift this mindset. Instead of thinking, I have to, try saying, I choose to. This shift reminds us that we have control over our actions and our time. It's about reclaiming our ability to decide what we truly want to focus on, rather than letting external pressures dictate our lives. From it's all important to only a few things really matter. Modern life often pushes the idea that everything is important, that every email, every meeting, every task, every message needs our immediate attention. But the truth is, only a small number of things actually deserve our full focus. Essentialism encourages us to constantly ask ourselves, does this truly matter? By distinguishing the truly important from the trivial, we can prioritize the tasks and activities that bring us closer to our goals and leave the less important behind. This frees us from feeling overwhelmed and allows us to put our energy into what matters most. From I can do both to I can do anything but not everything. We often convince ourselves that we can balance everything: work, family, hobbies, social life, and every opportunity that comes our way. But this belief can lead to burnout and exhaustion. Essentialism asks us to acknowledge that we can't do it all. Instead, it teaches us to make deliberate choices. By focusing on the right things and letting go of the rest, we can achieve greater impact and satisfaction. We might not be able to do everything, but we can do a few things extraordinarily well. In essence, Essentialism teaches us to replace these limiting beliefs with empowering truths. We have the power to choose our focus. Only a few things are truly important, and while we can't do it all, we can excel at the things that truly matter. This mindset helps us focus on a more intentional, fulfilling, and impactful life. 5. Reclaiming your life by choosing intentionally. Each choice we make shapes the path we're on. If we don't choose deliberately, we can end up on a path we never wanted, simply because we followed others' choices or our own past decisions. Essentialism encourages us to be intentional and proactive. Rather than being passive participants in our own lives, we should decide what we want our lives to look like. Each small, intentional choice we make, each yes or no, helps us reclaim control and move toward the life that truly aligns with our values and goals. In summary, Essentialism isn't just about minimizing or decluttering, it's about embracing the power of choice. By realizing we always have a choice, by intentionally choosing what matters most, and by committing to live in alignment with our own priorities, we unlock a life of purpose, focus, and fulfillment. Chapter 3 of Essentialism. Discern the unimportance of practically everything. Brings a refreshing perspective on what truly matters. It challenges us to let go of the idea that everything deserves our attention. Instead, it encourages us to filter out the trivial and focus on the few things that really hold value. 1. The harsh reality. Most things are just noise. In our fast-paced, distraction-filled world, it often feels like we need to pay attention to everything. Emails, notifications, meetings, and obligations pull us in different directions, making it hard to know what deserves our energy. But as Essentialism explains, most of these things aren't truly important. We live in a world where, realistically, almost everything is expendable, and only a few things have lasting value. This is a powerful reminder to be selective and careful with what we give our attention to. 2. The non-essentialist versus the essentialist mindset. A non-essentialist views life through a lens of urgency and importance, assuming that nearly every task and obligation must be handled immediately. This mindset creates a sense of obligation toward everything, leaving little room for focus or depth. But an essentialist flips this thinking on its head. They believe that only a handful of things are truly essential to their life and purpose. Rather than spreading themselves thin, they focus on choosing wisely where to invest their time and energy. For an essentialist, most things can be ignored or minimized without significant loss. 3. The trap of everything is important. Many talented, capable people struggle to excel because they fall into the trap of believing everything is equally important. They say yes to too many things and feel obligated to take on more than they can handle. This trap keeps them busy but prevents them from making a meaningful impact. It's easy to feel that we're being productive simply because we're busy, but without focus, we're often just spinning our wheels. Essentialism teaches that reaching our next level requires the courage to let go of this belief. To make a real contribution, we need to zero in on the select few things that will have the biggest impact. 4. Discerning the few from the many. Essentialism is all about discernment. It asks us to develop a sharp sense of what's worth our attention and what isn't. This isn't always easy. It requires practice and self-awareness to recognize what is truly essential. Asking questions like, "Will this matter a year from now?" or "Does this align with my main goals?" can help us see beyond the immediate demands and focus on what will have lasting value. 5. Reaching new heights through selective focus. To reach new heights in any area, whether it's our career, personal growth, or relationships, we need to practice the art of saying no to almost everything. By cutting out the trivial, we give ourselves the time and space to fully invest in the few things that truly count. This isn't about being lazy or unhelpful. It's about being thoughtful and intentional. It's about reserving our energy for what matters most, so we can make a powerful, positive impact. In summary, this chapter reminds us that life becomes richer and more rewarding when we focus on the vital few over the trivial many. Essentialism is about learning to discern what truly deserves our attention and letting go of the belief that everything is equally important. By focusing on the truly valuable, we can achieve more, experience deeper fulfillment, and make a greater difference. Chapter 4: Trade-off. Which problem do I want? In Chapter 4 of Essentialism, the concept of trade-offs takes center stage. It's a powerful reminder that we can't do it all, and the choices we make define our paths. Let's explore this idea further, breaking it down into digestible pieces. 1. The reality of trade-offs. Whether we like it or not, trade-offs are a part of life. Imagine trying to juggle multiple priorities: family, work, health, and friendships. We can't give our all to everything at once. This is where the wisdom of trade-offs comes in. We must face the fact that some choices require sacrifices. As the chapter states, we can try to avoid the reality of trade-offs, but we can't escape them. The key is understanding that every choice we make carries weight and consequences. 2. A different approach to choices. A non-essentialist might constantly grapple with how to do it all, asking, "How can I do both?" This mindset can lead to frustration and overwhelm. In contrast, an essentialist adopts a more empowering approach, asking, "Which problem do I want?" This shift in perspective allows for a more deliberate decision-making process. Instead of being pulled in multiple directions, essentialists choose what truly matters to them, making peace with the fact that they can have it all. 3. Going big on what matters. The essentialist doesn't simply look at what to sacrifice. They focus on what they want to excel in. Instead of lamenting what must be given up, they ask, "What do I want to go big on?" This proactive mindset empowers individuals to channel their energy into pursuits that align with their passions and values. It's about prioritizing what brings the most joy and fulfillment. 4. The four-burner stove analogy. To illustrate the idea of trade-offs, consider the metaphor of a four-burner stove. Each burner represents a critical aspect of life: family, friends, health, and work. If you want to achieve greatness in one area, you might have to turn down the heat on another. To reach an even higher level of success, you may need to cut off two burners entirely. This analogy starkly highlights the necessity of making tough choices and prioritizing what matters most. It challenges us to reflect on our own lives and decide where to allocate our time and energy. 5. Creating space for clarity. To discern what is truly essential, we need to create space for thoughtful reflection. This involves allowing ourselves time to think, listen, and evaluate our priorities. It's about granting ourselves permission to explore, play, and discover what ignites our passion. Essentialists understand that clarity often emerges in moments of stillness, where we can tune out the noise and tune into our inner desires. 6. Discipline and decision-making. Finally, the discipline to apply highly selective criteria to our choices is crucial. It's not just about making decisions. It's about making the right decisions. Essentialists take the time to consider the impact of their choices on their lives and well-being. They learn to say no to distractions and yes to opportunities that align with their vision. In summary, Chapter 4 of Essentialism emphasizes the importance of recognizing trade-offs in our lives. It encourages us to shift our mindset from trying to do everything to choosing what truly matters. By understanding the significance of our choices, creating space for reflection, and applying discipline to our decision-making, we can live more intentionally and meaningfully. Embracing trade-offs allows us to focus on the things that matter most, leading to greater satisfaction and success in our endeavors. Chapter 5, Escape. The Perks of Being Unavailable. In Chapter 5 of Essentialism, the focus is on the necessity of escape for gaining clarity and focus. Here's a deeper dive into this important chapter. 1. The need for space. To effectively discern what is essential, we often need to create distance from the noise and demands of daily life. We need space to escape in order to discern the essential few from the trivial many. By stepping away from our usual routines and responsibilities, we allow ourselves the mental bandwidth to reflect and reassess our priorities. 2. Focusing through escape. McKeown emphasizes that to focus, we must first escape. This doesn't necessarily mean a physical getaway. It can also involve creating mental space. Whether it's through short breaks, meditation, or simply unplugging from technology, finding time to escape helps sharpen our focus on what truly matters. Chapter 6. Look, see what really matters. Chapter 6 encourages us to adopt the mindset of a journalist in our own lives, observing and documenting our experiences to gain perspective. 1. The journalist mindset. Being a journalist of your own life will force you to stop hyper-focusing on all the minor details and see the bigger picture. This approach invites us to step back and evaluate our lives critically. Instead of getting lost in minutiae, we learn to identify patterns and significant events that shape our experiences. 2. Journaling as a tool. One of the most effective ways to become this journalist is by keeping a journal. Journaling provides a structured way to reflect on our thoughts and experiences, helping us filter out the noise and concentrate on what is truly important. Chapter 7, Play. Embrace the wisdom of your inner child. Chapter 7 highlights the importance of play in our lives, arguing that it is not just a leisure activity, but a crucial part of exploring and discovering what is essential. 1. The value of play. Play doesn't just help us to explore what is essential. It is essential in and of itself. Engaging in playful activities allows us to reconnect with our creativity and curiosity, which are vital for identifying what truly matters to us. 2. Encouraging exploration. Embracing our inner child can lead to new insights and a deeper understanding of our desires and needs. It allows us to break free from rigid structures and explore possibilities without the fear of judgment. Chapter 8, Sleep. Protect the asset. Chapter 8 emphasizes that our most valuable asset is ourselves and underscores the importance of sleep in maintaining our ability to contribute effectively. 1. The essential role of sleep. The best asset we have for making a contribution to the world is ourselves. Essentialists recognize that adequate rest is vital for maintaining high levels of performance. Lack of sleep can cloud our judgment and reduce our effectiveness. 2. Prioritizing rest. Protecting our ability to prioritize begins with ensuring we get enough sleep. This chapter advocates for making sleep a non-negotiable part of our self-care routines, reinforcing its role in our overall productivity and well-being. Chapter 9. Select. The Power of Extreme Criteria. In Chapter 9, McKeown introduces the concept of using extreme criteria to evaluate opportunities, helping us make more discerning choices. 1. The 90% Rule. The 90% Rule encourages us to assess opportunities based on our highest standards. If an option doesn't score at least 90 out of 100 on our most important criterion, it gets a score of 0 and is rejected. This strict evaluation process helps streamline our focus and energy. 2. Evaluating opportunities. When considering new opportunities, list the opportunity. Define 3 minimum criteria that the option must meet to be considered. Establish 3 extreme criteria that represent your ideal standards. If an opportunity fails to meet the minimum criteria, it's an automatic no. If it doesn't meet at least 2 of the extreme criteria, it's also a no. This rigorous process ensures we only pursue what aligns with our goals. 3. Uncovering true priorities. A vital question to ask is, what will I say no to? This reflection helps uncover our genuine priorities, encouraging us to eliminate activities that do not serve our essential objectives. Chapter 10. Clarify. One decision that makes 1,000. Chapter 10 discusses the importance of clarity in decision-making, particularly within teams and organizations. 1. The importance of clarity. When there is a serious lack of clarity about what the team stands for and what their goals and roles are, people experience confusion, stress, and frustration. Clear communication of objectives is vital for cohesive teamwork and effective contributions. 2. Creating an essential intent. An essential intent serves as a guiding light for decision-making. It should be both inspirational and concrete, providing a meaningful and measurable framework that aligns with the team's overall goals. In summary, these chapters of Essentialism emphasize the significance of creating space, maintaining perspective, prioritizing rest, employing strict criteria for decision-making, and ensuring clarity in our lives. Each of these elements plays a crucial role in helping us focus on what is truly essential, ultimately leading to a more fulfilling and productive life. Chapter 11. Dare, the power of a graceful no. Only once we separate the decision from the relationship can we make a clear decision and then separately find the courage and compassion to communicate it. The more we think about what we are giving up when we say yes to someone, the easier it is to say no. Essentialists accept they cannot be popular with everyone all of the time. If your manager comes to you and asks you to do X, you can respond with yes, I'm happy to make this the priority. Which of these other projects should I deprioritize to pay attention to this new project? Chapter 12. Uncommit. Win big by cutting your losses. Sunk cost bias is the tendency to continue to invest time, money, or energy into something we know is a losing proposition simply because we have already incurred, or sunk, a cost that cannot be recouped. An essentialist has the courage and confidence to admit his or her mistakes and uncommit, no matter the sunk costs. Tom Stafford describes a simple antidote to the endowment effect. Instead of asking, how much do I value this item? We should ask, if I did not own this item, how much would I pay to obtain it? Don't ask, how will I feel if I miss out on this opportunity? But rather, if I did not have this opportunity, how much would I be willing to sacrifice in order to obtain it? Similarly, we can ask, if I wasn't already involved in this project, how hard would I work to get on it? Chapter 13. Edit. The invisible art. The next stage in the essentialist process, eliminating the non-essentials, means taking on the role of an editor in your life and leadership. The Latin root of the word decision, cis or cid, literally means to cut or to kill. Joke. I must apologize. If I had more time, I would have written a shorter letter. Alan D. Williams observed in the essay What is an Editor? There are two basic questions the editor should be addressed to the author. Are you saying what you want to say? And are you saying it as clearly and concisely as possible? Chapter 5. Escape. The perks of being unavailable. Key idea. To gain clarity and focus, we must occasionally disconnect and create space for reflection. Quote, in order to have focus, we need to escape to focus. Chapter 6. Look, see what really matters. Key idea. Act as a journalist in your own life, observing and documenting what truly matters. Quote, keeping a journal helps stop hyper-focusing on minor details and allows us to see the bigger picture. Chapter 7. Play. Embrace the wisdom of your inner child. Key idea. Engaging in play is essential, helping us explore and find what is truly important. Chapter 8. Sleep. Protect the asset. Key idea. Sleep is vital for our well-being and effectiveness. It protects our ability to prioritize and contribute. Chapter 9. Select. The power of extreme criteria. Key idea: apply the 90% rule. If an opportunity scores below 90, reject it. Clearly define your minimum and extreme criteria for decisions. Quote, if it isn't a clear yes, then it's a clear no. Chapter 10. Clarify. One decision that makes 1,000. Key idea: clarity in goals and roles reduces confusion and frustration, creating a more focused environment. Chapter 14. Limit. The freedom of setting boundaries. Key idea: identify deal breakers to avoid distractions from your essential path by refusing requests that do not align with your priorities. Chapter 15. Buffer. The unfair advantage. Key idea: accept unpredictability and create buffers to manage unexpected challenges. Chapter 16. Subtract. Bring forth more by removing obstacles. Key idea: to enhance productivity, focus on removing obstacles rather than adding more efforts or resources. Quote, an essentialist produces more by removing more instead of doing more. Chapter 17. Progress. The power of small wins. Key idea: celebrate small wins to maintain motivation and progress. Aim for minimal viable progress to make essential tasks manageable. Quote, everyday progress, even a small win, can make all the difference. Chapter 18. Flow. The genius of routine. Key idea: establish routines that facilitate achieving what is essential automatically. Chapter 19. Focus. What's important now? Key idea: focus on what is important in the present moment, kairos, rather than getting lost in the rush of time, chronos. Quote, if you're not sure, make a list of everything vying for your attention and cross off anything that is not important right now. Chapter 20. B. The Essentialist Life. Key idea: embracing essentialism transforms how we see the world and our decision-making processes. Quote, whatever decision or challenge you face, ask yourself, what is essential? Eliminate everything else. These chapters emphasize the importance of focus, clarity, and intentionality in leading an essentialist life, ultimately guiding individuals toward greater fulfillment and effectiveness.